So in this video, I'm essentially going to be reimagining Pokemon in a way. And what I mean by that is that I am essentially taking the types that already exist in the Pokemon franchise, like fire, water, grass, those things, and I'm changing some of them, keeping some of them, getting rid of some of them. I'm essentially just recreating that whole aspect of it. And what I was thinking when I was making this is that I kind of wanted it to seem more like a fantasy type thing. So I kind of focused on making the types more like elements and powers than just the types that any Pokemon fan knows and loves, or maybe doesn't love. So there's going to be 3 different parts. First, I'm just going to talk about the types that I am keeping, changing, and getting rid of, and adding. And then I'm going to go through the new super effective and weakness chart, essentially. Like what the new types would be weak against, what the new types would be strong against. And then lastly, I'll go over some Pokemon that already exist and what types of these new types they would have. So to start off, I kept a few different types, including Dark. So Dark remains, Ice also remains, Water remains, Poison remains, Fire remains, and Water remains. Or I believe I already said that. But other than that, I pretty much changed everything else. So, Dragon and Fairy, those two specifically, they've always kind of confused me as types because those are more like characters, or they're not exactly element-like like most of the other things are. Of course, there's also flying and fighting, so I got rid of all those essentially. Dragon is gone, and then Fairy, I sort of broke up into 2 things, and I don't really want to say I broke it up, because I broke it up into Light and Mythic. I think those kind of fit more for like the elemental types thing, but I don't want to say I broke it up into that. I kind of just broke it up into that when I was writing it down, but it turned out that I ended up giving a lot of light types to things that weren't even fairy, so take that with a grain of salt when I say I broke it up into these 2 types, because some Pokemon that don't even have the original type are going to end up with these new types. Because I also broke up fighting and normal. Actually, I didn't really break them up. I sort of combined them into one thing called basic, and obviously that would get confusing because there's already basic stages as far as the evolutionary paths go. But this is sort of a reimagination, so that word would get changed, and basic would now become a word to describe a type, which is the basic type, which is essentially for normal and fighting types. And then one that I actually did break up into 2 is electric, which I broke up into lightning, which I think makes more sense than electric for an elemental type name, and then also energy. And obviously those are pretty similar, but there is sort of a line between them when I get into the weaknesses and stuff. And then psychic, I broke up into magic and cosmic, and again, not all things that aren't psychic type, or not all psychic types are going to become magic or cosmic. Most will become magic. Things that are going to become cosmic aren't always going to be psychic types. I'm just saying this because this is how I wrote it when I wrote it down, that I was breaking up psychic into magic and cosmic. Anyway, ghost, I kind of fit that in with the dark type, so ghost is essentially dark now. And then flying becomes air. Steel is now known as metal. And again, I'm doing all of this just to make it sound more like a sort of a fantasy element thing instead of what it is now. Ground and rock become earth. And then lastly, grass, bug, and fairy, all of them kind of fit under this concept for a new type, which is nature. And for the most part, that's just the grass type that becomes nature. And that is essentially it for the new types, which means that fire, nature, water, ice, earth, poison, metal, basic, lightning, light, mythic, magic, cosmic, air, sound, energy, and dark would be the new types of Pokemon. And I forgot to mention, yes, sound would be added, because sound is something that pretty much a lot of fans have been wanting for a while, and it's like the most reasonable type for them to add other than light. Or at least that's what most people seem to think. And obviously I also added a few new ones like Cosmic, which is another one that's pretty popular among fans to add. And I also added Magic and Mythic alongside just changing some of the names and energy, but Cosmic, Magic, Mythic, Light, and Energy are all sort of similar in the fact that they're just like really powerful, whatever the word is, I can't think of a word, but you get the point. Anyway, to move on to the next part, I'm going to go over what each type is effective against, or super effective against, and also what they're weak to. So starting with Fire, in this recreation of Pokemon, the Fire type would be super effective against Nature, Ice, Metal, and Dark. That's all pretty self-explanatory, and it would be weak to Water, Earth, and Air. And if I ever have to explain one of these, which I will every now and then, I'll probably explain it when I get to the part where I'm talking about its super effectiveness, then its weakness, because I will eventually just get to every weakness as a super effective part. So, Nature beats Metal, Earth, and Energy. And I was thinking Energy just because, like, you know, plants absorb sunlight and turn it into energy. They kind of harness energy. Now, of course, by that logic, it would make more sense that they beat light, but I didn't really have anything else really beating energy, and I didn't want to make it too overpowered, so I let Nature beat it. And then it also beats Metal because I did this little thing I thought was pretty neat. Nature is also weak to Fire, Dark, Sound, Lightning, Metal, and Poison, so that's a lot, but you'll notice that it beats Metal and is weak to Metal, and by that I was thinking of, like, how we as humans kind of build up and destroy nature with our metal buildings and stuff, but eventually nature will claim it all back, so they kind of have a mutual beat each other thing going on. And then Water only beats Fire, Metal, and Earth for pretty obvious reasons, and then it is weak to Ice, Poison, Lightning, and Energy. Ice beats Earth because of, like, permafrost and stuff. It also beats Poison. I thought that was cool just because I was thinking of the idea of, like, viruses getting trapped in ice and stuff and preserved for a long time. And it also beats Water, which is not something that is true in real Pokemon. And then Ice is weak to Fire, Energy, and Metal. Earth beats Fire, Energy, and Poison. The only reason I was thinking it beats Energy instead of Lightning, because obviously in real Pokemon, it beats Electric type, but I split Electric into Energy and Lightning. So instead of Lightning, I had it beat Energy, because in real life, when, like, lightning strikes the ground, it blows up and it might crack the ground or something, but I was thinking of the Earth might just absorb energy more than it would absorb, like, a lightning bolt, because I believe the logic behind Earth, or ground, beating Electric type in a real Pokemon is that, oh yeah, the ground absorbs the lightning, but does it really, or does it just kind of get hit by it and then break open? So obviously Energy, I can't really justify that either, but it kind of makes sense just going off of what Ground and Electric have going in real Pokemon. And then also Earth beats Poison because I guess it sucks it up, because Ground type beats Poison in normal Pokemon, so yeah. And then Earth is weak to Nature, Water, Metal, Cosmic, and Sound. Poison beats Nature, Water, and Basic, and then is weak to Light, Magic, Earth, and Ice. Metal beats Earth, Nature, Cosmic, Dark, and Ice. The only reason I said Dark is because, like, you know, if you're a hero fighting a dark enemy, you might beat them with a sword or a metal object of some sort. And then it beats Cosmic because I was thinking, like, the only way for us to go to space is to be surrounded by a metal spaceship. And then it beats Ice because of, like, icebreaker ships and stuff, or, like, ice picks. Okay, Basic, I have it beating one thing only, and yes, it is, like, a culmination of fighting and normal type in a way, but I kind of did it dirty in a way because I only made it beat Mythic, But at the same time, that's pretty good because Mythic is supposed to be like a really strong, powerful type that only certain things will have, and that might not sound like it makes any sense that Basic beats Mythic, but my ideology there was that, like, well, mythical things aren't real, but basic things are, so Basic wins. Except the catch is Basic is weak to energy, cosmic, poison, and mythic, so that's another little mutual relationship there. Anyway, lightning beats water, metal, nature, and dark, and it is weak to sound and cosmic. Light beats dark, magic, poison, and sound. I was thinking poison because, like, light, magic can heal poison, and then sound, it beats that because light is faster than sound. And then light is weak to only dark and nothing else. Mythic beats magic, cosmic, and basic, and I was doing that because I made it beat magic and cosmic because I was trying to make it like a really strong thing so it beats the other two powerful sounding types, and then also basic because, like, at the same time that basic beats it because mythic things aren't real and basic things are, mythic things, if they were, they would be stronger than basic things essentially, and in this they technically are because it's types, but yeah. Anyway, mythic is weak to sound and basic. Magic type beats dark, basic, poison, and energy. And I was thinking magic beats energy just because, like, magic is kind of like supernatural powers, but energy is like a real thing that we naturally can harness and use. And then magic is weak to mythic and light. Cosmic beats lightning, earth, air, basic, and sound, and I'm pretty sure the only reason I made it beat lightning was because I wanted to, like, debuff lightning a lot because it's pretty strong in the actual franchise, but then I kind of realized that, like, it was already kind of getting debuffed a bit because I already made it a lot weaker, but yeah, I'll just keep that even though it doesn't really make any sense. And it also beats earth because, like, obviously space is above the earth. We can't really go there too easily. But of course, earth as an element is referring to, like, rocks and stuff, but it still kind of makes sense. And then cosmic also beats air because, you know, you can't breathe in space, and it also beats basic, and it beats sound because, you know, no one can hear you scream in space, quote unquote, so that's why that's a thing. And then cosmic is only weak to mythic and metal. Air, now this ended up being sort of a good one, but at the same time it's kind of like the new normal type. It beats fire, metal, and earth, and obviously normal type doesn't beat anything, but I say that because it is only weak to one thing. The only thing I could think of it being weak to was cosmic, so yeah, it has that going for it, even though it doesn't beat much. Sound beats nature because, like, animals and stuff are disturbed by us being loud sometimes. It also beats lightning. I only said that because, like, sometimes people are more scared of thunder than lightning, so yeah, sound beats lightning. And then sound also beats earth. I only said that because of, like, earthquakes. They're not really sound, but it's still kind of like a shock wave of sorts. And then sound also beats mythic, and the only reason I said that is because I wanted to kind of, like, sort of debuff mythic a bit, and also because if you're telling a myth, you're doing it by word of mouth, so without us being able to communicate myths, they wouldn't exist, essentially. And then sound is weak to cosmic and light. Energy type beats basic, ice, metal, dark, and water, and most of these just kind of have to do with, like, science and reactions and stuff, because if you add energy to ice, it becomes water. Add energy to metal, it'll heat up and turn into molten metal. Add energy to water, it'll become a gas. So that's why I did those. And then energy is then weak to magic, earth, and nature. And lastly, dark beats basic, nature, and light. So there's obviously another mutual relationship of being weak to each other there of dark and light. And then dark is weak to fire, light, energy, and magic. Now, lastly, I just want to go over some Pokemon that would have these new types and how that would kind of flesh out with the Pokemon that already exist. So I've picked some pretty popular Pokemon from throughout the regions, or just Pokemon that I think would go well with these new types. So Venusaur is nature poison. Charizard is fire mythic, because obviously dragons are like mythical creatures, so it gets the mythic type, and it's like a pretty strong Pokemon, or it's seen as one. Blastoise is water metal. Pikachu is lightning basic. Clefable is cosmic because they're said to come from like asteroids or something like that. Machamp is just basic, as I said, fighting became basic. Ninetales is magic mythic because it's based on the Kitsune mythical creature. Gyarados is mythic water because it's based on a myth. Ditto is magic. Porygon is light instead of normal now. I think light works pretty well just because it's like a digital thing, and that kind of refers to light in a way. Dragonite is just pure air type because it flies and there's no dragon type now. Mew is nature mythic. Lantern is water light. Ampharos is light lightning. Espeon is light instead of like magic or anything that I turned psychic into, just because it's called, I believe, the sun Pokemon. So that kind of works. And then Unknown is magic basic. Dunsparce is mythic basic, because again, it is based on a mythological creature. Scizor is a metal nature type. Corsola is nature water. Lugia is water air, and Ho-Oh is light air instead of fire air, because light makes more sense since it's the rainbow Pokemon. Celebi is cosmic nature. Exploud is sound type. Mawile is dark mythic. Volbeat is light air because it's a lightning bug and they light up. Lunatone and Solrock are cosmic earth. Whiscash is mythic earth because it's, again, based on a myth. Castform is nature, and I think that's pretty cool just because it's like weather, so instead of making it just basic type, which is what normal became, make it nature instead. Rayquaza is air cosmic. Jirachi is cosmic magic. Deoxys is cosmic earth. Infernape is fire mythic, just like Charizard was, because again, Infernape is based on the whole Wukong thing. Kricketune is nature sound. Bronzong is sound metal, because it's based on a bell. Lumineon is light water. The Sinnoh legendaries could all be cosmic magic. And then this wouldn't exactly work with these new types unless the Pokemon I'm about to talk about would kind of get redesigns, but Simisage, Simisear, and Simipour, since they're based on the See No Evil, Hear No Evil, and Speak No Evil monkeys, instead of being fire, grass, and water type, I think it would be cool if they got changed to Mythic Sound and Mythic Light. Simisage and Simisear would become Mythic Sound, because they're based on the whole, like... I mean, obviously, they're not really a mythology thing, or maybe they are kind of, but that's where I was going with that, the See No Evil, Hear No Evil, Speak No Evil monkeys, but Simisage and Simisear are based on the Speak No Evil and Hear No Evil ones, so that has to do with sound, and then Simipour becomes Mythic Light because it's the See No Evil monkey, and obviously light is like, vision has to do with light. Anyway, that was hard to explain, but Reuniclus is magic nature because, it's based on cells and stuff, but it was already a psychic type, so I made it magic and then nature because, cells exist as biological things. Slurpuff, or just most food-based Pokemon could be nature since, you make food of stuff from nature. Aurorus is ice light type. That's a pretty cool type, but obviously it doesn't exist. Anyway, Xerneas is nature magic, and Yveltal is dark magic. Solgaleo is cosmic light, Lunala is cosmic dark, and Necrozma is also cosmic light. Magearna is metal magic. Appletun would be nature fire, and I just said that food Pokemon would just be nature, but something like Appletun, since it's based on like a baked product that requires heat, it could be nature fire. Toxtricity is lightning sound. Cursola is nature poison, since it's like a dead coral that was killed by pollution. And then Milcery is nature water, because it's like milk, and that's obviously something from nature, but it's like a liquid like water is. Eternatus, this is a pretty cool one. I think it could be energy magic type with this, and this is the first time I'm mentioning an energy type, but of all Pokemon, Eternatus would definitely fit the energy type the best if it existed. But also, Regidrago could do it pretty good, the energy type, or it could be mythic type since it's a dragon thing. Enamorus is nature magic. Bellybolt is light water, not lightning. Kilowattrel is energy air, and it could be lightning too, but I was thinking kilowatt is like an energy unit. And then all of the past forms could have mythic thrown in there because, you know, like, they're kind of like speculative past, so mythology in a sort of way. And then all the future forms could have the energy type because they're all robots. So yeah, that was just a little fun thing I felt like doing, reimagining the Pokemon types. But honestly, I do want to say that I am kind of like not really coming up with too many ideas now for Pokemon videos. I did that whole thing recently over the past couple videos where I renamed every single Pokemon, and that took like a couple weeks to get through, and I was only really doing that because it was just me doing the same idea over and over. But now I guess like I'm not really a fan of doing this kind of content, so I might eventually switch over to just all content that's kind of like that one universe video I uploaded recently, or that one New Year's video I also uploaded, where instead of just talking about like Pokemon, I talk about real life stuff. And like, I don't really know, it's not happening now, but I don't know who watches me and who has returned as a viewer from other videos, but like, if you were familiar with my channel, then I do want to say that because I feel like I would just simply enjoy that other type of video more than just constantly making Pokemon videos, especially since there's so many Pokemon YouTubers out there, and if they're bigger than me, I don't really want to steal their ideas or ideas they're going to have, or just end up doing that I already did, and just, I don't want to see it do a lot better than the one I did. So yeah, that's just me. But I don't know what's going to happen, because obviously I'm not a big channel yet. Don't know if I ever will be. I'm just doing this for fun, sort of, and also to see if I can do well with it. I hope I can, but oh well if I can't. Anyway, thanks for watching this, and I'll see what I do next with this channel.